An incredibly hazardous winter storm is about to hit the United States, and it just grew worse. We are now less than 48 hours from effects beginning in the southern United States. This storm is shaping up to be the most intense southern winter storm since 2021. The greatest danger lies in the blend of hazards. Heavy snow will fall on the cold side of the system. Significant freezing rain will fall on the warm side. In several areas, freezing rain could persist for multiple days. Over the last 24 hours, the forecast took a striking turn. Model guidance shifted noticeably farther north. That shift is a major change for impacts. It moves the worst ice zone into different counties. It also shifts where the heaviest snow may fall. Some places that were expected to get snow may now get damaging ice instead. Other places farther north may now see historic snowfall totals. On top of that, brutal Arctic air is pushing in behind this storm. This could be some of the coldest air we've seen in years. Temperatures could drop to around 30 below zero on Friday and Saturday. Wind chills could plunge to near 60 below zero in the coldest spots. That kind of cold becomes dangerous within minutes. It also keeps roads frozen longer and slows power repairs. As that cold spreads south, it will worsen conditions as the storm unfolds. Let's start with the timing on Friday, late morning into early afternoon. That is when the first impacts begin. Light freezing rain develops across the Texas Panhandle and western Oklahoma. It may look minimal on radar, but it matters. A thin glaze can coat bridges and overpasses quickly. Travel impacts can begin early, even with light amounts. As we go into Friday afternoon, much of Texas stays cold and wet. Southern Oklahoma also tends to see cold rain in many areas. If you are in Dallas and Fort Worth, or down near Abilene, Friday looks mostly damp. Widespread freezing rain does not look likely there early on. That is one of the biggest changes from earlier forecasts. The wintry line starts further north, and that trend continues east later. By late Friday afternoon and into the evening commute, conditions ramp up fast. Freezing rain and sleet intensify near Oklahoma City and Tulsa. Ice also extends into the Texas Panhandle, including near Lubbock. At the same time, snow expands across Kansas. Snow also spreads toward eastern Colorado and into northern New Mexico. Once the main lift arrives, conditions can degrade quickly. Friday night into early Saturday is when the storm really erupts. Freezing rain becomes moderate to heavy in parts of North Texas and southern Oklahoma. The icing threat stretches from around Wichita Falls and Childress east toward Arkansas. Tulsa sits near a critical transition zone late Friday night. A small shift there can dramatically change the impact. One town gets heavy snow, while the next gets crippling ice. On the cold side, snow ramps up across the Central Plains, including Kansas and Nebraska. Overnight, from Friday into Saturday morning, the storm intensifies rapidly and shifts east. By Saturday morning, freezing rain expands closer to Dallas and Fort Worth and stretches toward Memphis. Much of Arkansas is involved as well. A narrow sleet corridor may set up between the ice and the snow from near Tulsa toward western Tennessee. North of that, snow becomes the main story in Missouri and Kentucky. St. Louis, Cape Girardeau, Springfield, and Joplin are under snow on Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon is when freezing rain becomes much more widespread. A large swath of freezing rain may stretch from Nashville back into the southern plains. At this point, Nashville looks more threatened by ice than snow. Expect a long stretch of freezing rain there on Saturday. Mid-afternoon, freezing rain also ramps up near Dallas and Fort Worth and along the Red River, quickly turning roads into ice. The corridor what worries me most for destructive ice is further east. Eastern Arkansas, southwest Tennessee, and extreme northwestern Mississippi stand out. This is where the most significant ice could set up. Some isolated areas could accumulate up to 1 inch of ice, which is catastrophic. That level of ice can snap tree limbs and bring down power lines. It can also make roads impassable and delay emergency response. Saturday night into Sunday morning may bring peak ice impacts there, as heavy freezing rain continues hour after hour. If you lose power, it may not be a quick fix. In the hardest hit pockets, outages could last days. Farther east, freezing rain becomes a growing issue in the Carolinas. Northern Georgia also needs to watch closely, including areas near Atlanta. This is where cold air damming can lock in surface cold. That can extend freezing rain longer than expected. Significant ice is possible in North Carolina, upstate South Carolina, and southern Virginia, including near Richmond. If you're near Charlotte, stay weather aware. If you're near Charlotte, stay weather aware too, because small changes will matter. While ice falls in those regions, snow piles up on the storm's northern side. Snow may extend from New Mexico and Oklahoma into the mid-Atlantic, including Washington, D.C. and toward Philadelphia. Sunday morning, freezing rain can continue in parts of the mid-Mississippi River Valley, including near Little Rock and Memphis, with lingering issues near Nashville as well. Freezing rain also remains a threat in parts of the mid-Atlantic. This is why the storm is so serious. Freezing rain adds weight hour after hour. Power lines sag and snap under that load. Tree limbs bend, break, and block roads. Once ice totals climb over half an inch, damage becomes much more likely. In the hardest hit areas, travel can shut down for an extended period. Later Sunday and Sunday night, the snow threat increases farther northeast. A major winter storm could hit Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Long Island. Totals of 10 to 15 inches are possible in parts of that corridor. Snowfall rates could reach 2 to 3 inches per hour in heavier bands. When it falls that hard, roads become impassable fast, and totals could exceed a foot by Monday. On the southern edge, there is also a risk of freezing rain. Freezing rain is possible across much of Virginia and North Carolina, and it can reach Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey. In places like Washington, D.C. and parts of New England, a quarter to a fifth of an inch is possible. That is enough for dangerous travel and scattered outages. Alabama and Georgia remain a wild card. Models continue to show a warm sector trying to hold there. If the warm air wins, ice could be limited in places like Atlanta and Huntsville, but it is still close enough to take seriously. Prepare anyway and do not wait. Have groceries, charge devices, plan for travel shutdowns. If the warm sector holds strong, another twist shows up Sunday. A coastal low may form, potentially supporting isolated severe storms in the warm sector. That includes an isolated tornado risk for parts of Alabama, Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle. By Monday, the storm begins to pull away, and conditions improve from west to east. But the cold air will not leave quickly. Arctic air keeps spilling out of Canada into next week. Longer range guidance also hints at another winter threat next weekend. That is still far out, so do not lock it in. Still, with this much cold air in place, it is worth watching. Now, let's narrow down where the heaviest snowfall may occur. Confidence is highest north of the main ice band. In the core snow corridor, the chance of at least 1 inch is very high. Farther south, probabilities drop quickly, including near Dallas and Fort Worth, southern Arkansas, and Nashville. For more than 12 inches, the strongest signal is in northwestern Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma, including around Fayetteville and Fort Smith. Odds also climb through the Appalachians from West Virginia into northern Virginia, Maryland, and southern Pennsylvania. For expected totals, a wide swath of 10 to 15 inches is possible from eastern Oklahoma into northern Kentucky. Cincinnati, Evansville, and Louisville could see 10 to 12 inches. Kansas City may see 3 to 6 inches. St. Louis may see 5 to 7 inches. Oklahoma City could see around 5 to 9 inches. North Texas remains a question mark for snow totals, but right now it looks more like ice than snow there. Nashville and Little Rock also look light on overall snow totals, with ice as the main problem. Now the forecast is where the biggest damage risk sits. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, a quarter to a half inch of ice is possible. Farther east, across parts of Arkansas into the Mississippi River corridor, freezing rain could persist, producing over half an inch of ice in many areas. Memphis and areas south of Little Rock could see up to 1 inch in a worst-case scenario. Farther south, including near Houston, a light glaze could be up to 1/10 of an inch. In the Mid-Atlantic, Virginia and North Carolina, including Charlotte and Richmond, could see at least a 1/4 inch, and locally closer to half an inch. That is enough for tree damage and power issues, especially if it falls for hours. Now is the time to prepare. Get essentials before roads glaze over and travel becomes impossible. Charge phones and backup batteries before the first ice arrives. Have flashlights ready and a safe heat plan for outages. Check on neighbors who may need help, especially during the cold. Once icing begins, avoid unnecessary travel and stay off the roads. Speaking of cold, the temperature drop is extreme. Friday morning, parts of the northern plains and Midwest could hit 30 below zero, and that is actual air temperature. Then on Saturday and Sunday, the cold sinks much farther south. Dallas and Fort Worth, Little Rock, and Memphis could drop into the single digits. Monday morning could be the harshest for the South. A hard freeze is likely across Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, with temperatures even near Mobile dropping below 30. Oklahoma City could be near -11 on Monday morning. We will keep updating this as the storm gets closer, because small shifts still matter. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss changes.